Alright, so belly is full. I've got, let's call it about a half an hour, 40 minutes before I have to be at my brother's place for my nephew's birthday. Because it's his birthday. Well, actually, I think Wednesday technically is, but today's the day we're having a party with the family. Yeah, he's turning 1, so it really doesn't mean anything for him because, well, you know, it's more just a family little shindig get-together. I'm surprised we're not having it at our place, to tell you the truth. Although I kind of know why we're not. Although the puppies are getting older, it's just, you know, still don't want to put Mama Bear, Mama Dog through that just yet. Whew, it's toasty. It is toasty. Yeah, it's about 80 degrees right now. So it's not, you know, I'm not saying that it's hot. It's not that bad. But it is definitely, you know, the hottest day that I think I've ridden it so far this year. And I've got the big black jacket on, not the lighter, more breathing jobber. So, yeah, you know what? I hope. I haven't gone through and looked yet to make sure that the video came through. And I'm going to assume it did, which, you know, of course, you know what happens when you assume? You know, bad things normally. Bad. Have a full belly, so that's definitely a plus. Weather next week up here is going to be kind of interesting. Is probably a nice way to put it. It's supposed to be kind of, you know, a lot of afternoon thunderstorms the next week. Not really. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be bad weather. It's just going to be, you know, kind of, I mean, different. They must have moved to the bowling alley because they used to be there with the BRC. Let's do the visor crack for now. Man, that thing is filthy. I gotta get a nice hot towel and just kind of soak this thing when I get home. Kind of let all the bug guts and stuff get off. So I did, assuming the video came through earlier, and I'm going to assume it did, for the sake of this. As far as things I'm going to do while I'm in Sturgis, number one is going to be test ride a bunch of bikes. Now, I'll probably do street glide, road glide. I'll probably do them. I'll probably do, I'll probably do the street glide and road glide, just again to see if my thoughts on those are still the same. That if I was going one way or the other, I would definitely do, you know, the street glide over the road glide. Which is kind of what I think I would do. I don't know for a fact, but okay, he's turning. Issue is I don't really need the stereo system. Would it be nice? Yeah, but is it, oh my god, I gotta have it? No. In fact, like, for that reason, I think I'd rather have the previous generation. Yeah, my sinuses are jacked up. Reason, I think I would probably rather have the previous generation, so like the 24, right? When did they redo that screen? Was it 24 or was it 23? That was the last year, the old one. Might have been 23. I probably would have to go with a 23. You know, so ideally like a 21 to 23. And I cannot lie. Okay, if you say so. I don't think I would test ride the Lowrider S again, or ST, just because I didn't like the rider position of that one. It just felt, something about it just wasn't very comfortable. Now, I'm sure 90% of that is the little extra I got, the more cushion for the pushing. I'm sure that's like probably a lot of it. But building here. Please, thank you. So yeah, we would definitely do some test riding of various bikes, like probably Road Glide, Street Glide, maybe the new Heritage, maybe. I'm not the biggest fan of the new bikes with the new screen. It's just I just don't like it. I mean, I get there are people who do, and if you do, hey, I ain't knocking you and your bike. That is in no way near my goal here. It's just I'm not a fan of it. I would rather have the old school, you know, gauge cluster pod like was on old Rushmores. And then a little smaller radio, if I have a radio at all. As for, like I said, probably the Heritage, probably the Street Glide and Road Glide, possibly. At least the Street Glide, maybe the Road Glide too. Now, like I said, a couple years ago when I test drove the Road Glide, my biggest thing I didn't like about it, it just felt like a flippin' boat. It felt, I know they're the same size as the Road Glide, Street Glide. I know they're about the same size. The weights are close. I think the Road Glide's a couple of pounds more, but it's not by much. But I don't know why. It just, the Road Glide didn't feel like it was as nimble as the Street Glide. Like the Street Glide, it seemed like it was capable. Now, would I flick it like this? No, because that Street Glide is going to be, you know, 100 pounds or 100 something pounds more than this thing is. doesn't, is it the deluxe or the slim? I don't remember. The one that's basically the Heritage, I think it's deluxe, right? Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look. But there was one that was basically the Heritage that just didn't come with the bags. And if I was going to put a pair of hard bags under, I wouldn't pay extra for the damn Heritage bags. I mean, don't get me wrong, the new Heritage bags, they don't look bad. But if you want a set of, you know, touring style bags, you're going to have to deal with that. But I don't think I mentioned this yet. My Super Duty, one of the injectors is starting to go out, so I bought all the parts for it. The neighbor's going to help me probably. Either he's going to do it, or, you know, while I'm at work, because that's basically what he does, is he does a lot of, you know, friends and family type work out of my neighbor's garage, out of my neighbor's barn. And so either he's going to get to it sometime next week, or I might try to start tearing it down next weekend, if indeed the weather cooperates. And I'll do most of the work, and I'll just have him come over and kind of give me a hand with, you know, walking me through stuff. So yeah, it ended up being right around $3,200 in parts. And he said if he does the work, it'll be about another $1,000. He said he's a little over $100. I think he's $125 an hour, and he quoted me at basically 10 hours. And the 10 hours is basically, should everything in the world go wrong, you know, generally he said he can do a set of 6.0 injectors if everything goes smooth in about 5.5 to 6 hours. At least I did it now and not when I was on the way to flipping South Dakota, because that would suck. And on top of it, this was kind of planned at some point. I was going to have to do something with the fuel injectors. I just was hoping to maybe wait one more year. It's an old one. They're going to Laconia, which is, oh, what, a week away, I think. I think Laconia starts next week. I think it starts at the 13th. The downside is, with having to do this, it basically wiped out the ability of me to do any sort of a trip, wiped out the ability of me to do really anything to the bike in South Dakota other than maybe put a set of tires on it, or at least a new rear tire, I should say. Which there probably is a possibility I'm going to have done. Even though this thing kind of takes an odd tire size, it's not the end of the world, because it's the same width and wheel size as the touring bikes. It's just a little taller aspect ratio. So if, you know, let's say he doesn't have it, he doesn't have a 180, I think it's a 180/70. You put a 180/65 on it and just recalibrate the speedo. shoe corner, which you see a couple. For some reason, everybody just dumped their shoes here. I don't know why. Just there's one there. There's yeah. This is where everybody throws their shoes away. I don't know why. And a couple up there, and yeah. And just chuck them on the whites, because why not?